Welcome to the second episode of Can I Get Next, a podcast highlighting the different local scenes across the country within the fighting game community. Today's challenger represents Southern California as a Street Fighter V competitor for Radiance GG, contestant on TBS Network, and E-League's The Challenger, and a soccer and Chun-Li lover. Not only that, but I know you're a pretty big sports fan, and from what I've heard, your screen name actually comes from the game Mass Effect. So, welcome to the show, Commander Jesse. Is there anything you'd like to add?
Rest in peace, Kobe. Rest in peace to my man Kobe. I'm also a Lakers fan, so I want to make sure I give a special shout out to one of my heroes.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say, a lot of people were really shaken up about that, and like for me, I'm not a huge sports person, but even I felt that because you grow up with such a big name like that. And you know, regardless of what scene or community or, you know, anything that you're a part of, like that's a big name and everybody dreams about being the next Kobe in whatever they do.
Yeah, his competitive nature is something that I think all competitors can vibe with. You know, they were able to understand, like even if they didn't watch basketball, once they got to understand who he was and what he was about, I think everyone has that in them, just that competitive spirit, the drive to want to win. And I myself, I grew up playing basketball. My mom put me in like basketball leagues when I was little to get me out there. You know, when I wasn't like playing video games, she was like, "Get out there," and I was like playing basketball. And, I was in like the YMCA Junior Lakers, and I would watch the Lakers all the time on TV and watching Kobe go and do his thing. So like when he passed, it was just such a huge loss for everyone here in Southern California, because I feel like we all kind of just grew up with this person in our lives, and for them to be gone like that it was like gut wrenching. Yeah, it's one of the hardest losses we've had in maybe just a ridiculously long time.
Yeah, no, I agree. And like I said, I think across the board, everyone felt it. To know, like, too, like, people who grew up playing sports, people who grew up idolizing him. I mean, like, it's heartbreaking, and not to mention too, I can't imagine like what his family went through and stuff like that, because it wasn't just him; it was also his daughter.
Yeah, it was him, his daughter, and there were 7 other passengers in that helicopter, their families. It was a tragic incident. So my heart, you know, my condolences go out to all those.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dealing with that, yeah.
And I think like the big thing to take from it too is like to have an appreciation for your like everyday life and for the people around you, because at the end of the day, you know, like freak accidents and stuff like that happen, and it's like, you know, you can lose somebody in an instant, so it's always important to appreciate those around you.
Yeah, very true. It's made everybody more aware, for sure, and more grateful and more appreciative of the people in front of you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But on a positive note, I remember, I think it might have been my first proper time meeting you was at a North American Regional Finals.
Yeah, it was. I went up to you because I thought I'd already met you. And I think I went up and was like, "Hey, how you been?" And I realized, like, wait, we haven't met. I just feel like I thought we'd met.
Yeah, no, like, I totally get that. And it's so funny because it's just, like, there's so many people in the scene. And, like, when you're talking to them or, like, you know, like, bumping into the stream or whatever, it's like you think you met them. And then you realize, like, wait a minute. I haven't met this person before, have I? And then it becomes awkward because you're having, like, this existential crisis of whether or not you just, like, totally goofed.
Yeah. Oh no, I embarrassed the shit out of myself. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh my god, I'm so embarrassed. Like I thought we had met before, so I went up and like tried to. I think I gave you a hug because I was like, no, oh my god, how you been? Like I went in, you know, I was like committed. I was like, oh yeah, for sure, I know you.
Yeah. But well, here's the funny thing. I thought we had met before too.
Well, I probably told you on it.
Yeah, I didn't realize till after the fact. I'm like, wait a minute, have we met? I can't tell, because it's like I know you travel quite a bit and I've traveled quite a bit, so that was the hard part, was trying to figure that out.
Mm-hmm. But yeah,
yeah, that's so funny. But yeah, I think that was the first time we properly met. And I remember, I forgot who it was I was talking to, but they were telling me about you, and they were telling me about your name, how you became Commander Jesse. And
Oh, it had to be our life. It
it
had to be our
probably
life.
was. It probably was.
Yeah. Because our life is the one that gave me that name. A long time ago, I used to go to this place called Family Fun Arcade. Rest in peace. It's no longer around. But that was like the place that everyone went to in the valley to play fighting games. It's like a mecca for all the Third Strike players before me. That's where they used to go and play Third Strike. But I got there around the time Street Fighter 4 started up, and I entered like one of the tournaments as just my name, Jesse. I didn't have a gamer tag or anything. And
Hmm.
Arliath was running the tournament. And the next day I went back to the arcade, because we're going to meet up and play or whatever. And I checked the results, and it said, not Radiant. Oh, wow, I'm thinking Radiance for some reason. Um, it said Commander Jesse Shepard on the results. And I was like, what is that? That's not my name. Like, what is that?
Yeah.
And I was like, what does that mean? They're like, oh, we just have a running joke here that we all think you look like Commander Shepard from Mass Effect, so we call you Commander Jesse Shepard. But like back then, I didn't have a beard and I didn't have any hair, so I guess I sort of resembled him, I
Yeah,
guess, or at
yeah.
least everyone thought I did. So the name kind of stuck. I just took the Shepard part out. Too
Yeah,
long.
no, I dig it, and like I could totally see it. Mind you, I'm trying to envision you without a glorious large beard. I feel like that's a trademark for you, the beard.
It is. It is. Yeah, it's a staple. Like I can't. I don't think I can shave for at least as long as I'm in the community. I don't think I can shave. It's just a thing
Right.
now. Yeah. So.
That's funny. Do you
Mm.
play Mass Effect?
I've never played it.
It's easy.
Honestly, I've never played it. No. And people are like, how can you be called Commander Shepard or whatever, and you've never played it? And I'm just like, I don't know. I've been busy playing Street Fighter. I just don't play. I haven't played it yet.
So
Maybe one of these days.
oh man,
Mhm.
I was gonna say, did you have to like Google who Commander
I
Shepard was?
did. Yeah, because I was like, who's that? I still don't know what you're talking about. Like I told him, I was like, I still don't know what you're talking about. So I had to Google him, and I was like, I guess I can see it. But he's like, no, we all think you look like him, so that's what we're calling you. I was like, okay, sure. So,
That's
but
funny.
maybe one of these days I'll have to do like a Mass Effect stream or something like that, where I like play the game for the first time. Because I heard from everyone that it's good.
Oh
Everyone
yeah.
says that it's good. So,
Yeah, it's one of my favorite. It's actually one of my all-time favorite game series. Is Mass
wow.
Effect. I'm a big space nerd, so yeah, and I love a game. Give me a game with like romance options, and I'm instantly sold. So you put two and two together, and you have like the perfect game for Flexus. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, it's cool. Like Commander Shepard is a total badass. So you're fine there. Like you're not getting compared to some like wimpy ass dude,
Oh,
that's
God.
some alien or whatever. Like he's a total like he's cool. He's very cool.
Yeah, I've heard worse names. I've heard worse
Yeah.
gamer tags, so I feel like it's not too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad it's given to me. Like some people like give themselves a gamer tag or they call themselves like XVX, something something XVX or something crazy, and I'm just like
Yeah.
I don't understand but like it was cool that it was given to me like that, so I appreciate it.
Yeah.
And there's a little story behind it, so it's cool.
Yeah, and that's the fun
Yeah.
part is like when people like kind of have a name put together and there's a story. Like when people
Mhm.
ask me for my screen name, they're like, "Oh, how'd you come up with Flexus?" I'm like, "It's just like one letter away from my actual name, which is
Mm.
Alexis." And
Oh.
like it's nothing exciting. I was just like brainstorming a new gamer tag while watching like some Street Fighter tournament online. I was messaging somebody on like one of our guys on Twitch, and literally we were just like throwing out names, and that was one of them. And I was like, "Oh, that's catchy. We'll go with that one," and I'll remember it easily.
Yeah, that's the important part. If it's
Yeah.
catchy, people got to catch on to it. It's got to be like, oh yeah, it just rolls off the tongue like that. It's
Yeah,
perfect.
absolutely. And Commander Jesse happens to roll off the tongue pretty well.
It's a little long sometimes. Sometimes I worry it's a little bit long. It's not like a two-syllable name, but it works. People they say they like it, so I
Yeah,
roll with
yeah.
it.
So you mentioned like going to local that our life ran, and I'm curious. You've been a part of the scene for quite a while then.
Yeah, yeah. I've been playing Street Fighter for, oof, I mean, since 2009.
Oh wow. Yeah.
I'm
So
the classic. I'm the '09er for sure. Played Street Fighter 4, vanilla Street Fighter 4, back in Family Fun Arcade, and then it really just took off from there. Like I played there all the time, and then I met people there, and then I went to an offline session. And at the time, I'd never been to someone's house that wasn't a friend to play video games. I thought that was actually a weird concept. Like, believe it or not, I thought that was very strange. Like, I was just like, okay, I don't know who this person is, but my friends say that he's cool and he's having people at his house. And I remember I asked like one of my friends who doesn't really play video games. I was just like, yo, you got to come with me. I don't know who it is, and just in case something goes down, you know, like I was just like, I was really sketchy about it. And he was like, yeah, I'll go with you. And we went, and it was just like chill. Like everyone was just playing Street Fighter. I was like, okay, for sure.
nice.
At the time, for me, I was like, that's just weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's now I feel like it's the best way to play. Like with your,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Well, it kind of, it brings like grassroots feeling back to the community. Like I know with our scene, that's one thing we do is we'll occasionally have our like casual locals at somebody's house and stuff like that. But like you and I are on opposite spectrums because I've only been in the community for like a little, like maybe a year and a half. Like I came in Street Fighter 5. That was my first proper fighting game. I came in Season 2 Chun-Li. So I had the worst of the worst when it came to Chun, and I stuck it out.
Wow. But you know that's I was telling someone yesterday on my stream that that's not even really what it's about. Like it's about just finding your character that you have fun with and you can get down with.
Absolutely.
Because I actually was a Chun-Li main in Street Fighter 4. That was my main character.
Oh.
Yeah, like that's the first character I started playing when I started playing Street Fighter, and I played her for like 2 years, maybe 2 or 3 years. So when Street Fighter 5 came out, that was the first character I tried. Everyone's like, you gotta play Chun-Li, Jess, that's your character. So I tried her, and I didn't like her. I actually didn't like her in 5.
Really?
I was like, yeah, I was just so used to Chun-Li in 4. And I played the beta in 5, like before it came out. Like they were, there was like the beta version of the game.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't like her. She doesn't look the same. She doesn't feel the same. She's changed, man. She's changed. Like I was like, I don't. She doesn't feel like the Chun-Li I'm used to.
Yeah.
So I didn't play her. Yeah, I didn't play her.
No,
but I was close.
Oh man. So how different? Because like I've dabbled in 4. Obviously, I've played more Third Strike over anything outside of 5. But like, how different was her gameplay style?
I thought visual. I mean, obviously, besides visually being very different.
Yeah.
I was just so used to getting the kicks in Street Fighter 4 with like the piano, like hitting all the kicks to get the kicks to come out.
Yeah.
But in Street Fighter 5, it's like a quarter circle input. So I was like, oh, it's easier, but I'm not sure if I like the fact that like I like the feeling of like being able to hit like a crouch fierce into like sliding my hands across the kicks to get the kicks to come out.
Yeah.
Like I like to be able to charge. I was used to playing like a charge with a fireball. I don't know. I just liked the way Street Fighter 4 Chun-Li moved, and it's 5. I just wasn't crazy about her archetype. Really, I wasn't feeling it. Yeah.
When I started playing Street Fighter, I actually played Nash. That was the very first character I ever played, and it's funny because I think a lot of people were that way. They're like, "Oh, he looks so cool." And I picked him. I was like, "Oh, he's the most attractive character in the cast." So I totally picked it based off of like not play style.
Pure looks.
Yeah,
pure
exactly.
Looks. Yeah,
and you see how far that got me. Within a couple months at most, I switched over to Chun-Li because I actually liked her play style, and I felt like it kind of matched my mindset and how I wanted to play as a player. But,
right.
Who do you main now? Like, what are your mains and your secondaries and stuff like that?
As of right now, I'd say it's like I'm having a little bit of a character crisis. A little bit. I main Dawson, but I honestly, even though like this is kind of going like back and forth, a lot of people are talking about bottom one or Dawson players always think that their character is weak he is weak. He actually is weak, and I think this season is going to be really difficult for him. So I've been trying to like find other characters to help him out. So I've been playing a lot of Colleen. That's been like my main focus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's super strong this season too.
Yeah. She was strong last season, and now she's strong again this season. So one thing I was really worried about was if they nerf her V trigger, then she becomes a different character.
Yeah.
She's still good, but not as good. But they left it alone, so I was like, oh my gosh. They left that trigger alone. Like, I think she's still very strong.
Well, I know, like, what is it? Is it the new V skill, I think? That she, like, it's, like, super hard to react to?
Oh, the command grab.
Yeah,
right? Yeah, it's pretty good. I think it's pretty good. The fact that she gets a command grab and she can hold your stun, it kind of makes people panic a little bit because they know that it's not going to go down at all until Colleen gets hit.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's pretty solid, but I still think that at the end of the day, her original V skill 1 is still more practical.
Mm-hmm.
It just has bigger damage output, better corner carry, and it gets the parry. So I think because of that, I think it might be the better V skill, but that's just where I'm at right now. Maybe 6 months from now, that opinion can change. But for now, I think it's really good.
Yeah, no, it's definitely interesting. I think with this patch, it's kind of I want to say maybe I'm biased because Chun-Li got buffed, but I think it's really balanced out the cast quite a bit more. We just saw Evo Japan, and we saw Sakura win, and I'm sure that must have been a proud moment for you as a Sakura lover.
It's funny because I love Sakura too, and Nauman, he came down to SoCal for the Last Chance qualifier, and he was at Wednesday Night Fights that same week, and we got to play twice in that tournament. And I played twice in the tournament, and we almost played a third time at the LCQ, but he lost the match before ours.
Oh.
So we would have ended up playing 3 times, like, in like a week. Basically.
Yeah, in a tournament setting.
Yeah, in 2 big tournaments in a week. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna play Nauman again, but he lost to Shanghai, so we didn't get to play. Yeah, but it's crazy. Like, he's a really, really nice guy. I'm happy that he got a win with Sakura at Evo Japan with all those super, super talented players. It's great. Yeah,
it was a really exciting. So I love Sakura. She's the character I wish I could play, but I can't do a DP motion to save my life. And yeah, I love her to pieces, obviously. And I had a cosplay of her, so I was like super stoked when I popped into stream one day, and we're like, yeah, we both love Sakura, we both love Chun-Li. I was like, oh, somebody else has good taste.
Yeah, I like to think so. I
don't know if I can agree on Dalsim, because it's a terrible matchup for Chun-Li. Or maybe it's just a terrible matchup for me.
No. It's a bad matchup for Chun-Li.
Yeah, it's such a struggle. It really is.
Yeah, it's really difficult. I was gonna say, actually, not that long ago, I was streaming Sakura. I was playing Sakura because I think she's really fun to play. I'm just not like sure if I can ever be a Sakura main.
Yeah.
But Nauman came into my stream when I was playing Sakura. Yeah, and I was like, just messing around playing her, and I saw his name, and I was like, Nauman, what are you doing here? And he's just like, he was just saying, like, you play Sakura since when? And I was like, I've just been messing around.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was in there. Yeah.
So,
he must have been scrolling through and saw.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, so if you could cosplay any character in the cast, who would you cosplay?
Well, I already have cosplayed Zangief.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Yeah. I posted it on Twitter not too long ago. I went to LA Comic-Con, and I cosplayed as Zangief. Oh. So I actually already have. Yeah.
That's okay. So obviously, then our question has been answered. That's actually really fun. I'll have to, after this, I'll have to definitely look at those pictures because that's funny.
Yeah, and I think all the Zangief players were like, how ironic is it that like a Dawson player is cosplaying as Zangief? Because that's their work. That's Like, if you think the Chun-Li matchup is bad, like, or you think the Dawson matchup is bad for Chun, like, it's much worse for.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And I think like Geef in general just kind of struggles with anybody who like kind of their game plan is to keep him out.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can't even imagine like it makes me thankful I'm not a Geef player. Let me just put it that way.
Yeah, it's like high risk, high reward. They can, but they have fun with it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So clearly you've been a part of the scene for quite a while, and you used to go to locals, and you still do. Where are your locals held now?
So now we have our local at the World Collide Gaming Center
Yeah.
in Northridge, California. We have a bi-weekly local that we do, obviously bi-weekly every Tuesday, every other Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
We used to be at Game Rooms in Burbank. We switched locations. We're now in Northridge, and it's great. Like, the community is great. We have a Discord for everybody who's interested in being a part of the local, wanting to come by. So many people coming through, making this happen. Like, I'm on the streaming aspect of it. Like, I'm behind the desk. I'm trying to monitor the stream, making sure everything runs. We got Azad, 818 Azad, stepping up, running brackets, being a TO essentially. We have JD and Kirby holding a commentary.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of people that are coming by just to play. A lot of great players. I can go down the list, but I don't want to miss people. You know what I mean? But there's
Yeah.
just just an entire list of people, and everybody coming together. It's great. I look forward to our Tuesday meetups because it's just like our community coming together, playing Street Fighter V offline,
Yeah.
and all of us just like improving together. And I got to throw this out there because Ultra David, who is also a part of our local, threw this out there. At the last chance qualifier, 3 players in the top 24 are actually from our local.
Ooh.
And I came in second place. Blarlad came in 7th place, and Myers came in 17th place. And we're all, or I think he got 13th actually, and we all go to the same local.
So
it's a testament to the strength of our local.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And the fact that like there's somebody who's a dedicated streamer, and you have like people who are dedicated to the scene. I think that's so important. And it kind of emphasizes the point. It's like, support your local, because clearly when you support your local and you go to it and you practice and you put in all this time and effort, like it pays off. And I mean, LCQ is that's a thick bracket. That's a big boy.
Yeah, super stacked.
Yeah. And like you have everybody who's trying to kind of get that last spot. So that's it. That's wow. Even like I knew there was quite a few names. Like I recognize your name obviously, in high placements. But wow, that's you must be proud. If anything, you must be proud.
I was super proud of Blarlad actually. Myers I know is great, travels
Mm-hmm.
around, does well. I'm super happy for Myers too. But I was just particularly proud of Blarlad because he doesn't really get to travel as much,
Mm-hmm.
but he does so well here in SoCal, and he's from the Valley like myself. So for him to go on and have that kind of performance against so many players at that level, really, I couldn't be prouder of like my fellow Valley boy. I was just like, damn, you went out there and smashed it. You did so well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he does this year at some of the CPT events. I think he's having. So it's going to be interesting.
No, that's awesome. Yeah, I think so. What on average is like your turnout?
It started off like a little bit slower, like anything, but
Sure.
now, like I think the last tournament we had 29 entrants, which is pretty good.
Yeah,
it's pretty good. Yeah, I mean, like for Street Fighter V right now, I think the numbers, fluctuating around 30 people is really, really good considering that we're just in the Valley with all of like most players that are from the Valley. We have other people that come out from yeah, it's been pretty great.
Yeah. And like it emphasizes the point that when you turn up to your locals and you support your locals, like you see the results from it. And I think I talked with Mike about this last on the last episode, but it's so paramount that you like people have that offline experience because nothing compares to it. Like it doesn't matter how many ranked games you play, how many casual matches, how many
Right.
lobbies you host. Nothing compares to like sitting with somebody like physically side by side, running the set, and like having like, and not just because like there's no lag, you can have like that immediate feedback and so forth. But I feel like there's like a human connection to it too, because it's just like it's a different feeling. There's more nerves behind it. I feel like in some ways it almost feels like there's more at stake as well.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, for me, like someone who used to go to the arcade where if you lost, you had to go back to the change machine, they draw out more money.
Yeah.
And then to put up, and there was one setup where everyone's watching you play, and there's quarters lined up because everyone's back next. If you lost, you had to wait your turn, and it could be one person ahead of you, or it could be like 7 or 8 people.
Yeah.
But you had to wait, and everyone's watching, so there was always pressure, just like playing at the arcade. But the fun part about it was just the human element of it, like being able to people experience about match you could do differently, character strengths, whatever. But it's like hanging out with your friends and just playing video games, and that's like the one thing that I think is so special about going to local. You don't get that online. You maybe be able to get on Discord, talk to your friends, but like going out to these events, you can maybe meet friends that end up being your friends for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just because you have that same passion, you have that, that same thing in common.
Yeah, and I think that's what's beautiful about the community. I mean, I'm sure you can speak on it too. Like when I first joined, I had gamer friends and stuff like that, but there's another level of making friends and connections within the community. And it's interesting because the only times you'll see them are at tournaments or at locals usually. Especially if they live across the country, let alone across the world. It's like the only time you'll ever see them is at a tournament. So it's kind of an interesting like concept in a sense to have these like long distance friendships that you feel so close with another person over.
Yeah, because of just the sheer fact that you guys love the same thing. And then when you get together, you go to these tournaments, it's like a reunion. And you're like, oh, I always felt like Evo was just like a giant reunion.
Yeah.
Because everyone from around the world goes. And then you just see people you haven't seen in so long. And it's just like, you see all the photos from that weekend and people just like getting together, cheering each other on.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty much the biggest. Well, I mean, I can't speak for it now, maybe, but like last year, it was like the biggest tournament technically of the year because, I mean, Evo had like over 1,900 entrants just for Street Fighter V alone.
Right.
That's a lot of people. That's an intimidating number.
Yeah, it's crazy. And you know what? I'm sure that like, how do these things all start? How does Evo get to where it's at? How does like Combo Breaker get to where it's at? How does Wednesday Night Fights? It starts at the local level.
Yeah.
It starts at the local level. It starts with like 2 people getting together to play, and then they invited 2 more. And then they invited 5 more.
Yeah.
And it's just like.
I can actually speak on that too because Arizona, we have a tournament called Undefeated. It was revamped. So shout out to Angelic on that. But last year we ran it and we had really great success. We had multiple games. I think we had over 400 entrants across multiple games, which is pretty decent for, a smaller tournament. And I think because of that, and maybe there's some like magical pitch put out or whatever, it's on the CPT tour this year, which is insane because Arizona, our humble little scene is getting its own CPT event, which is like, that means
huge.
Yeah,
huge.
It really is. It's so bonkers. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm so stoked for it. But that's what it goes to say is like you have these local tournaments that gain enough traction to grow bigger and bigger and then become what is the next Evo, what is the next combo breaker, what is the next CEO, and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now, with Evo said, how did you do? And I'm actually more curious actually about your opinion with the new announcement that so far there's been nothing said about it being on the Capcom Pro Tour.
Yeah. Okay. So first off, I will say this. I will say this.
Mhm.
I've never done well at Evo.
Okay.
Never. Never. I honestly felt like I was cursed because I never performed well. I don't know what it is. I would do okay at other tournaments,
Yeah.
but Evo for some reason I just never did well. Like I would maybe not even break like top 100 or something like that, which I felt like to me I could do, like I
Yeah.
was capable of, but I couldn't do it. And my friends always had that on me because they would do better. And
Hmm.
so they would just say like, "Oh, you know what, Jess? No matter how you do in all these, I'll always have Evo over." Like, oh, I was just like,
Yeah.
ah, like, okay, that's fine. But this last Evo was my best performance I've had. Luckily, I was close, but I was right outside of top 32. I got 33rd place. But
Oh.
yeah, but I
Still,
lost to
that's no small feat. Again, like I said, it was
yeah,
1,900 entrants, so to make top 32, that's a big or top sorry 33 top 33.
yeah. I know. I was so close. Phenom got me, but it's okay.
Oh
Yeah, yeah. But it was
yeah
great. It was great. I had a really good run up to that. I got
yeah
some really big wins over some really strong opponents, so I'm super happy.
yeah. But
Mm.
yeah, not announced on the Pro Tour so far this year. I don't know if maybe there'll be
I
a later
know.
announcement, but so far nothing's been said.
I know. It's honestly, I can't believe it. I can't believe that Evo, just that, like I was saying, that giant reunion that goes on every comes from, and now it's not. Well, we're not sure. I mean, I'm sure
Yeah.
that there's still details coming out with the
Mm-hmm.
Capcom Pro Tour, so we don't know if it's going to be a part of it at some point. I don't know. I just like the community aspect of it. I like the fact that people come together and
Yeah.
celebrate video games that way, and I
Yeah.
really like that. It's
Um.
kind of shocking just because it's been such a staple for so long,
Yeah.
and it's
It
been the
would.
biggest event.
Yeah, like even people who don't really know anything about the fighting game community know what Evo is. Like, I'll ask friends and stuff like that, and they might play games and stuff like that, but they at least know that term. And even I was familiar with it prior to the FGC. So it's yeah. I mean, I would say it's a staple in the community. It is again, one of the biggest tournaments of the year, but it's kind of this like luxurious tournament in that it's very it's hosted in Vegas, obviously, so you have that aspect to it.
Yeah,
And so it's fun because you have this like area where all people from around the world go. It's Evo, and there's pretty big money on the line too when it comes to Street Fighter. I think what was the top prize, like 10K or something like that, if not
something like
more.
that.
Yeah.
I think, yeah,
Um.
yeah. I mean, and I think it's the prestige of it all.
Yeah.
It's more of just like because all of us who got into fighting games heard about Evo, and it's the biggest tournament. There's so many entrants that doing well at Evo has prestige to it. Having an Evo medal,
Yeah.
having an Evo championship trophy, it's more about the legacy and the prestige of it all
Absolutely.
that
I
I think
mean, like, would you say I wouldn't obviously hold it like as an equivalent to like winning Capcom Cup, but I feel like it's definitely up there. It's second
uh,
to it.
yeah, I mean, some people would even argue that harder.
Hmm.
It's just because there's just different. It's a different kind of tournament.
Yeah.
Like Capcom Cup is a tournament that you travel all year for, get points, qualify,
Right.
and then you win a 32-person bracket that you have time to prepare for.
Yeah.
Brackets are put out. You are able to study matchups. In Evo, it's massive, and
Yeah.
it's the biggest open tournament in the world, and anything can happen. I
Yeah.
mean, we had we had Evo not too long ago where Bonchan lost first round to my friend from SoCal, NDOCR.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we all know here in SoCal, a super strong player, but I don't think people expected Bonchan to go out first round.
Yeah.
And it's like that can happen to you at Evo. Like blowups happen at Evo all the time. Like people lose all the time. You hear about like, you know, Cinderella stories at Evo. It's just it's very difficult terrain to navigate. So it's I would say it's up there. You know, I don't know if I could say one is harder than the other,
Mm-hmm.
but it's
Yeah, it's I think it's definitely a big deal, and obviously, you know, you're working through even LCQ. You know, you're working through more people at Evo than you are at LCQ. Because how many entrants was there for
oh yeah,
LCQ?
yeah. I mean, LCQ had 250, I believe.
Okay.
200. It was about 200.
Yeah.
And yeah, LCQ is a special case because really, it's either you get first or that's it.
Yeah.
You know, it's only the one spot, so
Yeah.
you're taking a big risk by going out to LCQ in the first place, knowing that if you don't get first, you don't get anything.
Yeah.
So
If
that's
you're
kind
not
of
first, you're last.
Ricky Bobby, you know,
Yep.
said it best for sure. You know,
The true Ricky Bobby tournament.
absolutely. You know,
Yeah.
shake and bake. So for sure, yeah.
So kind of backtrack a little bit. Obviously, you know, we talk about the fact that your scene is really strong, and you know, you have production value with it. You have consistent commentators and stuff like that. What do you like the most about your scene, though?
The most,
Yeah.
it's hard to pinpoint anything really like stands out to me the most. I just love the fact that it's like a large group of friends. Like it just feels like a tight knit community. Like even today, like this is our off week. We don't have a local going down tonight, but even tonight we're getting together at someone's house so that we can run our Street Fighter League exhibition, which we qualified for, which we have a team representing for because of our local. We're actually like we're getting together to play offline casual and run this exhibition. So it's just the tightness, and we're always engaging with each other. We have a special Discord in which we're all communicating. So I think I just love the fact that it feels like we're all just in it together. That's just my favorite part.
Yeah. So like when you guys are at tournaments and stuff like that, are you usually cheering each other on? And like,
they were at LCQ going crazy for me actually. Yeah.
Aww.
Yeah. We were going like we're hyping each other up because like on one end I was playing my matches, and then on the other end you had like Blarlad who was killing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I won my match. Like I played Trashbox. I won my match against Trashbox. I stood up and they called Blarlad to sit down that same spot to play his match. So I was like, so our whole local was there.
Yeah.
And they were popping off for me, and then they're like, oh, Blarlad's next, so they're popping off for him.
Yeah.
And it's just like, dude, we are like, this is amazing, right? Like everyone's just supporting each other, and it's always like that. Like we're all looking out for each other.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. No, that's the thing I love is when you have that support behind you, because like they'll support you whether you win or lose, because in their eyes you're always a winner, you know.
Yeah,
because you're seeing they're a little biased and stuff like that.
And that's great though. Like that's what's great. Like
absolutely.
when you have like all the scenes coming together, that's like when you go to tournaments, you see that all the time. You know, you got Midwest cheering for Midwest, you got SoCal cheering for SoCal, NorCal popping for NorCal. You know, everywhere around the country, just going crazy. But that's the beauty of it, is like communities coming together. And yeah, we'll like go in and, you know, maybe talk smack here and there, go back and forth. But like after the game's over, like we're all chilling. You know, we're all just talking about how hyped the matches were, talking about how, you know, how we got eliminated or how we qualified. We're celebrating their win while like understanding their loss.
Yeah, and that's a big thing too. It's like, even if you don't make it out of pools, if there's like a friend or somebody from your local who does, it's you it doesn't matter to you. Like for me, whenever I would find out like, oh, you know, like somebody from our scene made it out of pools, even if I went 0-2, I was still so happy and excited for him that it didn't even matter that I didn't make it out of pools, because I was just like proud that, you know, there's somebody here representing our scene. And you know, it was just like, it's a proud moment. It really is. It doesn't matter how you do, if somebody else is doing just as good, if not better, that's, you know, your friend or your from your scene.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I can't imagine, like, NLBC must be so proud. Like, I don't go every week to support his local.
Yes.
You know, he's always there, and to see him do his thing and win cap like that, it's like that's great. Like,
Yeah.
not only did America, you know what I mean? Like, you know, America won, which I was super happy for. IDOM, you know, works really hard. He goes to his local every week, and for him to take it down like that, it's like, how proud must everyone be?
Oh, absolutely.
For him, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like that's awesome, and he still goes. It's not like he won; he still goes every week, and it's just like,
yeah,
you know, it says something.
Yeah,
like, it's more than just going to, you know, play. It's just it's just that's where it's at. Like, that's the heart of community. It's the heart of you know, what it's all about.
Oh, this is getting wholesome.
Locals are wholesome, though. You know, they really are. Like, I try to tell people all the time, like, if you have the scene, you should have to go check it out for yourself. Like, if you don't like it, you don't like it, but you got to give it a chance. You got to give it a chance.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the big thing, is it, like, if anybody takes anything away from these podcasts, it's go support your locals. Just go, like, not just from like a monetary standpoint, you know, like paying the bills for wherever your locals are held, but it's just go support your locals, because the growth, like IDOM is such an amazing, like, it's a Cinderella story, you know, it's a beautiful story, and somebody who does support their local. I mean, even you, like, for LCQ and your the two other guys from your local scene, they, like, the fact that they play so well, and you guys all consistently go and support your local scene and stuff like that. It says something. It absolutely says something about how you all do, and, you know, there's a direct kind of correlation between how you do at locals, or I mean, like, when going to locals, and how you do at, like, major tournaments.
Yeah, I do feel like, you know, going to Worlds Collide and going to Wednesday night consistently for a while was helping me get ready. Playing against, you know, some of the best players that SoCal has to offer, you know, just consistently, like, so many strong players here, and then getting that offline practice, going into CQ, it's like, okay, well, you know, here are other strong players around the world. But it's if I feel the improvement, and you get that instant, you know, feedback right away from the other person next to you or at the great.
Yeah. Now, obviously, like, a lot of these locals have kind of drawbacks, or, you know, there's areas where they kind of fall short, unfortunately. Is there anything you wish could be changed about your scene? Because, like, we can talk it, and I think everybody can feel the love that we have for our local scenes, but I think at the end of the day, there's always things that can be done to improve them.
Yeah, I think there's always room for improvement. I wish I can have a, like, higher quality stream from my local. I'm doing everything I can with my stream currently. Yeah. But I hope that maybe, like, sometime down the road, I can probably invest in better equipment and bring a better production to the stream. But, like, we recently just moved to this new venue. So far, it's been going pretty good. I know that, like, we eventually start to get more people, then we'll have to make room for that, or maybe start to maybe there. But for now, the way that things are, I think that it's running pretty smoothly. We have a good amount of people. We have just enough space. We have enough time to run the local and have casuals before and after, which is great. A McDonald's just opened up, like, not too far away, which is amazing. Yeah,
so you can, like, get your nuggies and then go run your set.
instantly, yeah. So it's pretty sweet. But there's just it's so far, honestly, it's been great. I haven't thought about like the negative or any negative aspects to it, but just ways that like I can focus on improving. So the stream is one thing that I want to see like what I can do there. Maybe down the road, probably start to invest in more of the stream.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to do more stuff for the players.
Of course, of course. But I mean,
but
that kind of says something too about your scene. If the worst thing about it is, you know, just wanting to have a better stream quality, it kind of shows like how good your scene really is.
It's really good, honestly. Really, really good. Like I said earlier, just the fact that like even tonight, like we don't have the local tonight, but everybody still wants to get together to play.
Yeah.
Like we all still want to get together, and we're gonna go play in this Street Fighter League exhibition. We were watching because they had like a practice tournament last week, like an impromptu practice tournament, and we watched it, and we were all cheering at this online Street Fighter League thing that was going on.
Yeah.
And it's online, you know? We're like, the other team isn't there.
Yeah.
But we were just like, let's go, take that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they can't hear us, right? And we're just like, I don't care. They're like, let's go, Valley, Soko. And it's just like, we're probably going to do that tonight, you know? And it's great. I don't know. I feel very lucky. But yeah, I can't really think of things that we need to work on. Like, I can't think of the negatives now particularly, but just things that I want to do to make the stream.
Yeah. So with that said, obviously your local's pretty strong, and you know, kind of know the good, and really there's no bad. But if there was like one thing that you want to emphasize and you want people to know about your scene, what would it be?
Thing. I guess if I had to say one thing, I think it's just the fact that we have some players that obviously are very strong.
Mm-hmm.
We have other players that are getting stronger. We have some other players that are just arriving there, like maybe just started going there. And I feel like we have a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Like we have people who go there just because they play Street Fighter because they want to just take a break from, you know, real life stuff. They just want to like have fun, come play and hang out. And we have a little bit of everything. So I guess it's just like if you're a competitor or if you're just looking to come and play some Street Fighter and hang out and have fun, we kind of have it all. Like we kind of have a little bit of flavor for anybody who's interested. So like I was talking to, you know, two people at the local. One of them is a mayor and the other one is a lawyer, and then I play Street Fighter, and I'm just like thinking to myself like, this is kind of crazy, you know? Like you have people from all different kinds of backgrounds coming together because we all like Street Fighter, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just like it just shows the diversity in our group and the fact that we all like this game and love to compete, but also want to play offline and hang out. We have that. And so, you know, I'm very lucky for it. So I guess that's the one takeaway I would say, is that we have just people from all, like, different kinds of backgrounds, different kinds of, you know, motives or just intentions out of the game. Like some, they just want to hang out and play. Others want to get better. Others want to be the best. Others just want to commentate, you know. Blarlad's brother does commentary on our stream. He doesn't play Street Fighter. Like he plays every now and then just to kind of get like the hang of what's going on.
Yeah.
But he doesn't compete, you know. He just really commentates. So we have like a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Pretty great.
That's awesome. And I think that's the big thing too, is like people don't like, you know, there's this whole like competitive nature, sure, to Street Fighter, but at the end of the day, people don't have to go to these tournaments with the intent of going and competing afterwards. If they just want like some friends to hang out with that are into video games like they are, like, that's the cool thing about it, is you can go and do that and you can play, and like that you know, that's all you really need to do. You don't have to go and compete. and sometimes too, you don't even have to play if you want to just hang out with people. Or if you want to support your local and like go and TO or go and commentate or go and run,
Run
whatever.
brackets or
Yeah,
something.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Um,
True.
that's kind of the cool thing about it is it's multifaceted, and I think the big thing to emphasize is go to have fun. And I always believe that if the game isn't fun to you, then why do you play it? Why do you spend time on it? Unless you're getting paid, of course. But like, if it's not fun to you, then like, why do you play it? Like, if you're not enjoying it, even if you're competing, if you're trying to be the best, if you're trying to get better, that like, if you're at the end of the day not enjoying your game, then I don't think, I think there's going to be a bitterness towards it at the end. And I think that's why locals are such a good and healthy, like, aspect of the fighting game community, because it allows you to kind of like, it allows a good setting to enjoy the game and to have fun outside of the salt and the toxicity of of online.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's just people coming together because they all have a passion. They all
Yeah.
love to do the same. And it's great. It's great. There's really nothing like it. And from someone who's been going to locals, I guess you can say like going to the arcade back in the day for me was like the equivalent of going to a local now. It's just that we don't have arcades nowadays. Like arcades are not a thing of the past. So what did we do to replace arcades? We have local.
Yeah.
And like that is the closest you can get to the arcade experience. It isn't quite exactly the same, but it's close. It's close enough to it.
Yeah. It's just a little less quarters being thrown.
Right, right. I will say this because I loved going to the arcade and meeting some of the friends that I have now. I met in 2009 when we were playing Street Fighter 4, and
Wow.
some still play, some don't.
Yeah.
But it's just like the feeling of walking into an arcade, hearing all the sounds of all the different machines, and
Hmm.
putting your quarter up, playing, having the crowd watch you and the other person go at it was like a special experience. But now, if you'd never gone to an arcade, if you go to that local experience will feel just like that. It will give you those nostalgia vibes. Later on down the road, you'll look back at times like that when you're going to the local, hanging out, playing Street Fighter, doing what you love. Like you'll get that same nostalgia feel.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. And for those who
yeah,
don't know, 2009 was like over 10 years ago.
yeah,
So
yeah,
knowing that, like,
yeah.
A, you've been a part of the scene for that long, but
Mhm.
B, having friends from the scene to today for that long, that's a special bond.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. It's pretty crazy. It's
Yeah.
pretty crazy.
Um, is there any ending notes that you'd like to leave us with? Any words of wisdom?
Uh, well, I just want to say that I'm grateful for my local. I'm grateful for Worlds Collide for letting us use their venue to have our local sessions at.
Hmm.
The at 818 local on Twitter is where Twitter is. We also have the Discord. I think that's also 818 local.
Hmm.
You can watch all the streams every other Tuesday on my stream, twitch.tv slash
Yeah. Plug that social
CMDRJESSE.
media.
I do stream the local, so if you want to watch there, come by, hang out. We can watch all the action. It won't be tonight, but it'll be a week from today. Um, but yeah, make sure to support your locals. I got a brand new emote made. Um,
So
it has. I guess I'll shout it out. By the time this comes out, it'll probably Dawson throwing up to LA.
yeah.
Super hype.
Hell
My
yeah.
my girl made it for me, so shout out to
Yeah.
her.
I was gonna
Um,
say, so if where can people find you if they want to use that sweet emo, or if they just want to,
yeah,
see any posts or content that you make yourself?
yeah, you can go check it all out on twitch.tv slash CMDRJESSE. I stream almost every day or every other day. And I stream the local tournaments at Worlds Collide. So every Tuesday. Make sure to stop by there. My Twitter is exactly the same. It's CMDRJESE. And I'll post about what's going on for the local, when I'm going live, all that good stuff. So I post videos and pictures and stuff like that too. Of, what's going on, who's there, things like that. So it's great. I know there's locals going on all over the country, which I'm sure you'll be discovering and covering and mentioning. But it's great that everyone's doing their best to bring people.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Commander Jesse, it has been an absolute pleasure, and I'm really glad you came on the show today, so thank you so much.
Thank you, Flexiss, for having me. I appreciate it.
And if you guys want to catch more episodes, you can check out on YouTube at Flexiss. You can also find me on Twitter at Flexiss_, and you can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Flexiss__. Without further ado, I will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much, and adios.